The gentleman from California, Mr. Sherman, is now recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you. Welcome back to Congress. I want to focus on something but both the chair and the ranking member were focused on, but not in a way to criticize, but in a way to focus on what HUD can do to help veterans. The issue here is how you calculate the income of a veteran, chiefly a disabled veteran. And there are two reasons you do the calculation. One is to determine whether they're eligible to get into the housing, and the other is to determine how much rent they have to pay for living in the housing. I'm focused only on the first. I can see budgetary effects of the second. If we turn to veterans and say, you pay less rent, maybe there's a budgetary effect. But there's no budgetary effect in saying, okay, we have a unit available, you're eligible, you can move in. And all of these programs, you're only eligible if your income's under a certain amount. And so it depends on how you calculate someone's income. And what I'd like to see is that service-connected disability payments not be considered income for this purpose. Now, there are many other areas where service disability payments are not considered income. The Internal Revenue Service code, for example. Now, this would create a circumstance where a disabled veteran, I can't think of anything more shameful than a homeless, disabled veteran, lost a limb defending us out on the streets. There's also a tremendous advantage for them living in HUD-VASH housing. It's mostly built right there on veterans' land where you have the hospital. And there's no one more likely to need a veterans hospital than a fully disabled American veteran. So we have Regulation 24 CFR 5.609 that defines income. And I wonder whether you'll work with us to change that regulation so that service-connected disability payments are excluded from the definition of income.
We are working on a proposal, a legislative proposal to do just that. All of us want to make sure that
I'm also working on a legislative proposal, and if we had a functioning Congress, Congress could do this and we wouldn't have to urge you to do it. Your department is more functional than Congress. Even your critics would have to admit that if they knew anything about Congress. So I'm hoping that rather than turn to us and say, here's what we should do, I can turn to you and say, here's what you can do, which is to amend your Regulation 5.609. Do you agree with the purpose of this, to let disabled American veterans who are homeless live in housing usually built on veterans' land? Is that a good purpose?
If I could do it today, I would do it.
My goal is to convince you how you can do it not today, but over the god-awful period that it takes to amend your regulations. But you can still do it better and faster than we can do it.
We have provided the flexibility to our public housing authorities and others to at least go up as high as they possibly can, which includes most veterans.
Well, even if some programs are for 40% all area median income, some are 60%. If you can get a special waiver, which requires you to send somebody out there, and you can go up to 80% of area median income. But 25% of homeless veterans are getting these disabled service-connected disability payments, and even at 60%, even at 80%, particularly in the largest veterans facility, I know the ranking member knows it well, that's now in my district. It's enormous, but it's in a high-cost area. And it's not a matter of 60%, 80%. We need to take the disability payments out of the definition of income. I've got one other issue to focus on, and that is mortgage insurance. The FHA program, its required mortgage insurance, I don't have to tell you, that's working people, people of color, first-time home buyers. They have to pay the mortgage insurance premiums. That raises their costs. Are you willing to look at not requiring them to make these payments for the life of the loan, but rather to eliminate the payments when they get a certain loan to value as the value of the house goes up?
Yes, I'm willing to look at it.
Thank you. I yield back.